Hello and welcome back to the Wildly Wealthy Woman podcast. Today we're talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is grieving the woman you used to be so that you can step into the woman that you're becoming and the woman that you were born to be. And this often happens when you're in a season of change. So maybe you have become a mother, or you've went through relationship change, or you went through a change in your business, or a change in your body. And what you're feeling is who I used to be was so much better than who I am right now. So, for example, if you just become a mother and you've had like actual physical changes in your body, you're grieving the body you once had. You're like, oh, I wish I could go back to the fitter version of me that had so much energy and time for herself. Or in business, maybe you've went through a cycle and a change in your business where, a few years ago things were blowing up and everything seemed to be happening for you. I know lots of women felt this in 2020 where everything just really took off. And then cycle seasons change and things get quieter and you're pivoting or innovating and creating something new. And it can be easy to get caught up in the mindset that, oh, I need to do what I did before in order to get where I want to go next, or I need to be or look or have the things I used to be or do or have in order to be enough. And this is a time when tapping can really, really serve you. This topic came up today inside of tapping school, which, if you're not familiar with tapping school, it's a phenomenal personal journey and professional journey for people that want to take tapping to a deeper level. So you can become a certified practitioner, or you can just go on your own inner journey. And this theme came up today in our pod call, and that's where everyone taps in their tapping buddy sessions. And I asked the ladies if they'd be open to me sharing it, and they said yes. And we're actually going to do a tapping session on this theme today so you can see how I would facilitate a session or take you through it. But before I do that, I'm going to share personal pieces of my own story around this. This has come up for me mainly in business and grieving the things I once had, or the connections I once had, or how things used to be, and how I've reframed it to build something even better and build something newer and greater than I had before. And the steps that I recommend for this process is to, number one, identify any fear that you have that you won't be able to get back to who you used to be or what you used to have. Okay, so number one, where is that fear in your body and how high is it on a scale of 0 to 10? So, for example, I'm afraid that I won't be able to get the body that I used to have before I had a baby. And I feel that fear, and it's like a 7 and it's in my stomach. Or I feel this fear that I won't be able to make the money that I once made in my business. And that feels like anxiety, and it's like an 8 and it's in my chest. So that's the first step that you want to do in tapping, is identify the emotion and where it's living in your body and tapping through that. So we're actually going to start there together today. And if this is relevant to you, amazing. Let's dive deep. If you're like, oh, this kind of resonates with me, but it's not necessarily where I'm at right now, that's totally fine. You're going to borrow benefits from tapping on this anyways. So it's a term in that we teach inside of tapping school, borrowing benefits. It's when you're tapping on a very general statement or topic, and just the tapping itself will help you lower your cortisol levels, relax, and honestly connect you to your higher power, connect you to your inner wisdom. So let's dive in. If you're in a safe place to do so, as long as you're not driving, you can close your eyes, take a nice deep breath, tuning into your body, setting aside whatever you were doing before this and anything you'll go to after this, creating a space just for you to notice if you're holding on to any fear that you won't be able to get back to where you used to be, or fear that you won't be able to get back to who you used to be, because things have changed, you've evolved. And although it's beautiful in so many ways and you love who you are today, there's just this little piece of you that's scared or sad that you've lost a piece of yourself, or you've left her behind. And then when you're ready, we're going to dive in and we're going to tap on the side of the hand. This is called the karate chop point. And you're going to say, even though I have some fear that I've lost this part of myself and that I won't be able to get her back, I love and accept myself anyway, especially because who I used to be was so magnetic, was so confident and bright. I'm afraid that I've lost her and I won't be able to get it back. And I love and accept myself anyway. Especially because life has changed. There's a part of me that's grieving who I used to be. And that's okay. I love and accept myself anyway. Let's go to the top of the head and say, there's some sadness that I'm holding on to, eyebrow point, and some fear. Side of the eye, I'm afraid I won't be able to get that girl back. Underneath the eye, the version of myself that I used to be. Underneath the nose, I was so energetic before. Underneath the mouth, I was so confident before. Collarbone point, I was so, and I want you to fill in the blank. Underneath the arms, I was so successful before. Underneath the chest, and there's a part of me that's afraid and sad. Wrist point, that's not where I am anymore. Top of the head, and I'm going to give myself the space, eyebrow point, to feel this today. All right, so you can take a deep breath and stop tapping. And this is such an important stage of the tapping and healing process because you might be saying, yeah, but like there's so much I love about my life today, and there's so many things I should be grateful for. Yes, we're going to get to that. But before you get to that, you have to give yourself permission to feel the sadness, to feel the fear, to feel any of the grief that you've been holding on to. Because if you don't feel it, it's going to hang over you like a cloud. It's gonna hang out in your body, and you're gonna feel the tension in your shoulders. You're gonna feel like you want to move forward, but you can't because in order to heal it, you have to feel it. And it's okay that if you're feeling this today, that you're feeling like I'm really upset. I'm really sad that I am not where I was before, or I regret doing some of the things that I did. You have to give yourself space for that. And so, again, if you're not driving, writing down like what it is that you're feeling. I'm really feeling sad or afraid because fill in the blank. This is another tip I give students all the time. Like, use the emotion, I feel sad or I feel afraid because fill in the blank. And whatever you fill in the blank with, whatever you say, that's the language you want to use to do your own tapping with, because the secret to success in tapping is in your specific wording. So we're going to check back in with the body now. Take another deep breath. Close your eyes if you're in a safe place to do so. And just notice, how high is the grief or sadness now around the person that you used to be? What number is it on a scale of 0 to 10? So just give yourself a moment to tune into that. And perhaps it went down. If it didn't go down, that's no right or wrong answer here. But if it went down, it means that you're open to seeing things differently. You're open to change. And so we're going to tap again on the side of the hand and say, even though I have been grieving the woman I used to be, and I've been feeling like I need to get back to her, Maybe there's a way for me to see this differently. Maybe instead of going back, I can move forward instead. Even though I've been thinking, I need to get back to that time when I was feeling confident and good about myself. Maybe instead of going back, I could go forward and create a new version of me. Even though I've convinced myself that it was better back then because I was more fit, because I had more money, because I had more energy, whatever it is. Maybe there's a way for me to see this differently. I'm open to seeing this differently now. We're going to tap on the top of the head and say, instead of needing to go backwards, eyebrow point to who I used to be, side of the eye, and to how I used to do things. Underneath the eye, maybe I could take the best parts of myself underneath the nose and move forward underneath the mouth into a new version. Collarbone point. Maybe I could take the parts of me that I love underneath the arms and step into my future with them. Underneath the chest, maybe I could take the parts of me that I love, wrist point, and start building a new chapter. Top of the head, I'm starting to see this in a new way now. Okay. So take a breath. This is what we call a reframe. We teach this in tapping school. And my partner in tapping school, Sarah, she talks about whenever we hear a client say, I want to go back, that might mean there's a little trauma there. And everybody has trauma. There's big T traumas, little T traumas. And it also can just mean change. And if you're still feeling like, no, I need to get back to that, there might be some deeper tapping work to do. I highly recommend you reach out to me and I can connect you with the right resources to work through that. But when it comes to reframes, we're saying, wait a second, instead of needing to go back to who I once was, maybe I could move forward into the woman that you were born to be. Because you were born to be someone great. If you're listening to this podcast, there's no doubt about it. You were born to be someone great. That might be a great mother. That might be a great woman in business. That might be a great partner. That might be a great architect, whatever it is. You were born to do something great, and you're not going to get into the greatness that you are destined to be by going backwards. You're only going to get there by going forwards and crafting a new version of yourself that can hold and handle all of the things that you were made to do. And so for this last round of tapping, we're going to take your power back from anything or anyone that you've given it away to. And this is exactly what happened in tapping school today. We had a member share that when she was going through a divorce, she's like, prior to that time, I was really confident in my own skin. I felt really good about myself, about my body. I went through this divorce and then I went to get, she's like, I went to a surgeon to get a breast lift. And the surgeon really pushed her into getting breast augmentation. And she's like, I intuitively didn't want to do it, but he was very convincing. And so I went with it. And it's caused some health issues since. And what she was grieving was, the woman I used to be would have never done that. I just happened to be at this really hard, challenging lower point in my life and was influenced by somebody that was very convincing. And she was holding on to a lot of sadness and grief that now she had repercussions in her body because of that. And so what I did with her is we tapped on um, the sadness around her body because when you go through a trauma in the body like that, it can make you feel disconnected. Like you feel your body feels like you've betrayed it. So we tapped on forgiveness tapping. So Ho'oponopono combined with tapping is how we did this. And we just went through a round where we said, dear body, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry for not listening to you. I'm sorry for giving my power away to that man. I'm sorry for putting you through this. I recognize that you've done the best that you possibly could with the circumstances you've been given. And please forgive me. Forgive me for putting you through this. I love you. Thank you for doing your best. And I choose to take my power back now. I choose to take my power back from this moment in time where this man told me that he knew better than me. And I reclaim my body and I reclaim my power now. And so, whatever your version of this is, maybe you've given your power away to motherhood, or you've given your power away to people that helped you get results in the past, or you've given your power away to past relationships. Today is the day you choose to take your power back. You forgive yourself for giving it away. You realize it came to be a teacher. I'm choosing to take my power back now and remember who it is that I really am. And who it is that you really are is that woman that's always had that light, that little girl that always had that light, that always had that confidence, that always had that inner knowing. That is who you really are. And that is who I am here to remind you of today through this practice. So for this last round, let's tap together again on the side of the hand and say, even though I was grieving who I used to be, I'm starting to feel differently now. I'm starting to feel proud of who I am and who I've become. And even though the things I walked through were really hard, I realize they've come to teach me. And instead of wishing things to be different, I'm choosing to accept them as they are. I'm choosing to reclaim my power today and step boldly into my future now. Even though there's a part of me that's been grieving who I used to be, I am ready to transform now. I am ready to be proud of who I've become and step into the woman I was born to be. And even though my confidence shakes sometimes, and I think that I need to go back to who I once was, I'm realizing that who I've become is pretty incredible. I choose to take my power back now. I choose to step into the woman I was born to be. Top of the head. I was born to be great. Eyebrow point. I was born to do big things. Side of the eye. I forgive myself for not seeing myself. Underneath the eye as worthy. Underneath the nose as capable. Underneath the mouth, or as confident. Collarbone point. I forgive myself for forgetting who I really am. Underneath the arms, I'm choosing to remember it today. Underneath the chest, I am powerful. Wrist point, I can do this. Top of the head, I am worthy. Eyebrow point, and I am ready now. Side of the eye, I'm ready to let go of what happened back then. Underneath the eye, I am creating a new future now. Underneath the nose, I am proud of who I'm becoming. Underneath the mouth, and the woman that I am today. Great job. You can take a deep breath and stop tapping and tune back into your body. You can close your eyes again. And just notice now, how high is the fear that you won't be able to get back to who you once were? What number would you give it on a scale of 0 to 10? Again, if there's still some fear there, that's not wrong. That just means, oh, there's still some more fear here. What is it that I'm afraid of? Go deeper into it. I'm afraid that, fill in the blank. Do some more tapping on it. Tuning in again, how high on a scale of 0 to 10 are you grieving who you used to be? What number would you give it? And what I would invite you to do next is to activate using excitement about who you're becoming. What are you most excited about the season that you're in? What are you most excited about right now, the season that you're in right now? You probably have people around you didn't have before. You have ideas that you didn't have before. You have opportunities that you didn't have before. You have awareness that you didn't have before. The season that you're in is really exciting. There is something new being built in you, in your family, in your business, and in you. And this is the journey of growth and transformation. This is what it means to be alive, is to go through seasons of change, to go through seasons of transition, to grieve who you once were, but then to remember those pieces of me didn't go anywhere. I just need to reclaim them. I call them back to me now, and I help those parts of me build what it is that I'm building today. We're a force where we unite together to create the life that we want. I call this my inner power team. So anytime there's past parts of myself that I felt disconnected from or I'm grieving, I reclaim them and I bring them into my life today, into my energy, into my body. And I'm like, okay, all forces are a go. Like, we are a power team that's uniting to create the life that I want. And this gets to be fun and this gets to be exciting. And the things that I love about my life right now are fill in the blank. I love my relationship. I love where I live. I love the freedom I have. I love the people that I have. I love the wisdom that I have. Get into a rampage of love. What I love about my life right now is, and write it down and then tap that through. Again, the secret to success is always in the specifics. So I hope this helped you today. If it did, please, please, please share it. This is how our message grows. I know there are women all around the world that need this. I know there are women all around the world that are stuck because they're stuck in who they used to be. And that's okay, because we believe in Tapping School that the past unlocks the future. We don't bypass our feelings. We don't ignore who we once were. We honor it and we leverage it to get us to where we want to go. So go ahead to share this, tag me, send me a message if today's session helped you. And most importantly, come join us in the 21 days of tapping and affirmations. We're starting June 3rd, 2024. It's $21 for 21 days. There's sessions just like this every single day. So imagine doing this every day for 21 days. The results will blow your socks off. We've had people manifest dream jobs, love, heal their body, manifest money, you name it, we've done it. And this round is really special. We're going to go deep into inner child healing, which is usually something that's only accessible to my advanced students. So come join us. You're not going to regret it. $21 for 21 days. Can't wait to see you there. And thanks for listening. See you next time.